Hi, I'm Mira Dong, a clinical psychologist practicing out of Melbourne, Australia. Today, let's talk about something we all experience, anxiety. It's very uncomfortable, so we often try to get rid of it or suppress it. But when we do, anxiety often shows up in the body as dizziness, indigestion, a tight chest, or headaches. So clearly, pushing it away doesn't work. And anxiety isn't always the enemy. Sometimes it's trying to tell us something important, that our sense of safety begins to break down. And safety isn't just about physical danger. It includes emotional threats like uncertainty, inner conflict, or confusion. When we don't know what decision to make or how to protect ourselves from what's coming, we start to lose our sense of control. And that loss of control is a core trigger of anxiety. This can come from many places like trauma or inner conflict. For example, after a car accident, someone might think, even when I do everything right, something bad can still happen. And that experience shakes their sense of predictability. The world no longer feels safe and anxiety takes hold. Sometimes anxiety comes from inside, especially when we feel torn between parts of ourselves. Take relationships. You might value the love and connection you've built, but part of their behavior, your partner's behavior, crosses your values and leaves you unsettled. One part of you says, stay in this relationship, work on it. This relationship is the right one. Another says, leave. This relationship doesn't feel right. That inner conflict creates emotional confusion. And when we don't know how to protect ourselves or what decision to make, then we don't feel safe. That's where anxiety lives, in this space between decisions. There's another source of anxiety. When we feel anxious about our own feelings, emotions. Sometimes I feel grounded, confident, and clear. Then hours later, I might feel messy, unsure, overwhelmed, and stressed. In those moments, this thought creeps in, saying, why do I keep switching between clarity and confusion? If I'm not steady enough, how can I handle this life? I'll share another personal reflection. I know I am unique and a little bit quirky, and it's taken time to embrace that. But even now, self-doubt still creeps in, telling myself, what if I'm too much, too weird? What if people don't get me? What if they don't like me? And when that fear shows up, I feel emotionally unsafe, even when nothing around me has changed. We live in this world that tells us we need to be calm, consistent, and put together. We are told to always appear composed, emotionally polished. So when we feel messy or scattered, we don't just feel discomfort. We actually feel unsafe to be ourselves. But here's what I remind myself. You don't need to be emotionally perfect to be okay. You don't have to fix or silence every part of yourself. What helps is creating this space inside, a space where all parts of you, even the conflicted ones, can exist together without shame. Real safety doesn't come from having it all figured out. It comes from knowing you can hold space for your whole self, even when things feel unclear. And beneath so much of our anxiety is this belief. There must be a right answer. There must be a right thing to do. But what does right even mean? We tend to assume there's a universal right answer, the one way that works for everyone. or a permanent right answer, the one I must find and stick to forever. But in real life, what's right is very contextual, evolving, ever-changing, and personal. So what can we actually do? 1. Question the belief that there's one perfect answer. Instead of asking, what's the right thing to do? Try asking, what feels safe and helpful for me right now, even just for the next step. 2. Make space for all your inner voices. Imagine a meeting room inside you, the tired part, the driven part, the fearful part, the confident one. I want to work. I want to rest. I want to stay in this relationship. I want to leave this relationship. All different thoughts. They all want to protect you, just in different ways. When we stop silencing those voices and start listening, we create this space. And from that space, clarity, sense of peace, calmness slowly begins to emerge. So, to sum up, anxiety is a messenger, not a flaw. It shows up when our safety, especially emotional safety, feels threatened. It grows when we pressure ourselves to always be composed or get things right. So the solution isn't control. It's compassionate permission. You don't need to be fixed. You're not broken. You're just being human. And that's more than enough. If this message resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need it. Thank you so much for being here with me today.